What's going on, guys? Welcome to week 65 of my journey to scratch. Last week, I watched a video on the title of this YouTube page about goal setting in golf. And in the video, the sports psychologist, Dr. Pickens, explains this four-part system that he implements with all of his golfers across various levels of the game. And I thought it'd be an amazing idea as we're getting ready to start the golf season to implement the same strategy into my own game. If you are watching at home and you have access to a notepad, go ahead and grab it and let's set goals together and comment them down below. I'd love to hold one another accountable throughout the year when it comes to them. I have some pretty ambitious goals, but I do think they're very achievable, but they're going to require some lifestyle changes, which we're going to get to that in a second. So let's start with part one of the system, and that is to set a result-oriented goal. It's pretty much what we want to be able to claim at the end of the season, right? So whether that's to win a tournament or whether that's to break 90 for the first time, the goal itself is not going to get you there, but it's sort of the overarching objective. So for me, my results-oriented goal for the year is going to be to have a scoring average of 80 or better. My scoring average for last year was an 83.5, so I'm gonna have to shave off about 4 strokes for my game. And the reason why I wanna set this goal is that I think this is going to require me to get comfortable shooting in the 70s more consistently and more often, which is something that I think I've only done about 5 or 6 times. I think a big part of that is the mental hurdle of it and the mental aspect of it. But I know that I've put in a ton of work on my swing in the last year to really achieve this. And that kind of dives into part number 2 of the system. So part number 2 is stats, or setting a stat related goal, which, funny enough, I think this is sort of like a sub goal of mine. I used to do a really good job of tracking my stats using Arcos, and I just haven't been using it lately. So that's sort of a sub goal of mine, is to make sure I start tracking my stats a little bit better. But nonetheless, I know exactly what part of my game needs work, and that is my approach game. I don't hit nearly enough greens. On average, I hit about 7 or 8 greens around, which is nowhere near where I need to be. And it's really not a coincidence that every single time that I hit 11, 12, 13 greens, that's when I'm playing my best golf. So with that said, my stat goal for the year is going to be to average 12 to 13 greens in regulation. I don't want to sound overconfident, but I really do think the rest of my game is good enough to be shooting in the 70s consistently. I put myself in a good spot off the tee, and I just don't capitalize. So that's going to be a big focus. And that will lead us into how we're going to do this, which I think is probably the most important part of this whole system. And that is the process-oriented goals. So you hear it all the time. Don't get so honed in on the results will come, but you have to stick to your process. And I think this is where the biggest change for me is going to be this year. I spent all of last year rebuilding my swing, and that required me to practice a ton. That required me to put in a ton of time on the range, and quite honestly, I wasn't getting out there on the golf course enough to play and feel comfortable. And that's where I think the biggest change is going to be this year. So I'm going to be substituting one of those practice sessions that I used to have with 9 holes of golf. So my process is going to look as follows. I want to play at least 27 holes of golf per week, and I want to supplement that with 3 hours of practice per week. In an ideal scenario, I want to spend an hour on the grass range. I want to spend 30 minutes putting, 30 minutes chipping, and then spending an hour at the simulator where I'm able to kind of calibrate my swing and look at numbers. Big thing that I've been doing all throughout this off season is continuing to do my workouts with my trainer, Pickens from Wether Sports. So I've seen some pretty nice speed gains. I'm getting stronger. I'm feeling more fit. I'm feeling better. I really want to continue that throughout the year. I'm going to be playing more golf, so I also want to stay injury-free. So I'm going to be doing 3 hours of workouts with Alex. 2 of them are actually at home through his app, and then the other one is going to be the in-person that I do every single Friday. So now the last part of the system, fitting my process into my schedule. And you guys know how busy I am. I've talked about it before. I'm about to get married here in the next couple months. I obviously run this YouTube channel, do all the editing, filming, scripting, thumbnails, management of everything, right? And then I also have a full-time job that takes up the majority of my week. That's how I pay my bills. That's how I'm able to provide all this content for you. So my time to golf and to get better at golf is pretty limited. But I do think that I'm doing the best I possibly can with the time that I have. So I'm going to put it up. I already made the schedule, but I'm going to put it up here on the screen. You guys can pause it and take a look at what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to dive into every single spot, but essentially what I'm doing is everything revolves around my full-time job, right? So the middle part of my day is pretty much taken because I'm going to be working most of the time. Also, the weekends, I either travel or I'm spending them with my fiance. I really don't have a whole lot of time to devote to practicing and playing golf. But so what I did is I pretty much broke it down morning and afternoon. So the morning time would be morning before work. So waking up at around 5:30, 6 o'clock, working on certain things of my game, whether that's a workout or actually practicing right before work, obviously going through my whole day of work. And then after I'm done, going out and either playing or practicing. I also threw in some time in there to edit my videos because that takes a lot of time. My guess is that I'm actually going to be spending probably the last 2 hours of every day editing. That should give me enough time to make sure that I have a video ready at the end of every single week. Honestly, guys, I am super excited. It's going to be really difficult to wake up at 5:30, but my fiance has been doing it for a few weeks now and has really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna push myself to do that as well. And obviously we're getting married, so whether I like it or not, I'm gonna have to start getting up at 5:30. Well, guys, I think that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to press that like button. It helps me out significantly. And if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Introduce yourself down below. I literally respond to, well, I guess I used to be much better about it, but I respond and I at least read every single comment. So introduce yourself down below. Write down what your goals are going to be for this year. We've all been there. If you're somebody relatively new to the game, have never broken 100, this is going to be the golf season where you do it. And I'm so sure of it. If you have any questions at all, as always, please make sure you reach out. This is my journey to scratch, but I really enjoy sharing this journey alongside you guys, hearing about your own journey. So please continue to update me. If you've never seen any of my videos before, I'm gonna link some good ones up here. The most popular videos on my channel are actually lesson videos that I take with my golf coach, Zach, who's an absolutely amazing instructor and has transformed my swing in the last year. I am so excited for this golf season. I hope you are too. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week, and I'll catch you guys next week for week 66. I love you guys.